Okay, this section is about dividing polynomials by monomial or by another polynomials. So in this case, the first one is, and also we will use synthetic division for dividing a polynomial. Okay, the simple thing is when you divide a polynomial by a monomial is this. Okay, the numerator, each term in the numerator. Okay, so the denominator is c, which is just monomial. Then we can separate each term in the numerator by the same denominator, like this. So a over c plus b over c. We know how to add two fractions with the same denominators, like denominators. What we do is we added the numerator. So a plus b. So from left to right, what we do is separate the numerator using the same denominator. Even this one. So a over c minus b over c. A over c minus b over c. So if the denominator is monomial, we will separate each term in the numerator. So this will be 12x squared divided by 4x minus 20x divided by 4x plus 8 over 4x. And then simplify each fraction. So 12 over 4 is 3. X squared over x is x. 2 minus 1 is x. Okay, minus. Okay, 20 divided by 4 is 5. X cancel out. Plus 8 over 4 is 2. And the denominator is x. So this is the simplified expression. Okay, this is exercise 6. We are dividing trinomial by negative y. So we can write as, okay, you can just make it a fraction, so over the trinomial over negative y. And then we can separate each term in the numerator by dividing by negative y. So 5y cubed divided by negative y plus 6y squared divided by negative y minus 35 over negative y. Then this is equal to, so the negative sign goes to the front, 5. So 1y cancel out, so 2y left. And then this negative sign moves to the front, so minus 6, 1y cancel out, so y. And the negative minus times negative is positive, so plus 3, and y cancel out. Okay, this time let's think about the long division method. So when we divide 9, okay, divide 9 by 2, then we can write it as, this is same as 9 over 2. So when we divide this 9 by 2, we can use this symbol. And the divisor is 2. So when we divide this, we write, okay, 2 times what is 9 or close to 9. And not less than 9. So that should be 4, right? So 2 times 4 is 8. And then what do we do next? We subtract. So 9 minus 8 is 1. So we can write it as, so this is equal to the quotient plus 1 is the remainder. So we write 1 over the divisor. This is how we write. So 4 is the quotient. We call this one quotient. And 2 is the divisor. And 1 is the remainder. And this is the dividend. So once we divide a number by some number like this, or divide a polynomial by another polynomial, we write the answer as the quotient. So this will be the quotient. Let's use quotient plus the remainder divided by the divisor. Okay, this is the form that we write the answer when we divide. something using long division. So let's try another example. Alright, let's divide this trinomial by binomial. So write the trinomial. Trinomial is the dividend. So when we write the dividend, make sure we write the terms in descending order by the degrees. So the largest exponent term comes first. And if there's a missing term, then put 0 or space to save that particular space. Okay, and then divide by x minus 1. Even x minus 1, you have to write in descending order by the degrees. Okay, so write the long division symbol like this. And then first we got to find out a factor so that the first term in the divisor times something has to be equal to x squared. The first term in the trinomial, in the dividend. So x times what is x squared? And of course x. So x times x is x squared. We must find the same x squared. Okay, so we found x. So x times is x squared. And then also multiply the other term by x. So negative 1 times x, there's negative x. Write it next to x squared. Okay, just like using the long division, what we do is we subtract the first line by subtract the second line from the first line. So let me use a little mark like this, subtract. So x squared minus x squared is 0. The first part has to be always 0 because they are same. The first terms are the same. It's always 0. So when it's 0, we don't write it. Okay, and then 2x minus negative x. 2x minus negative x is plus x. So this will be 3x. And then 4 minus nothing is 0. So 4 minus nothing is 4. So subtract the second line from the first line, then we get 3x plus 4. Okay, next we will find the factor so that the product of the first term in the divisor should be equal to 3x. So x times 3x, x times what becomes 3x? That is 3. So 3 times x is 3x. So write 3x below this 3x, below the first line, and then multiply negative 1 by 3, so negative 3. Then write next to 3x. And what we next is, we subtract second line from the first line. Then the 3x is cancelled out. So 4 minus negative 3x. 4 minus negative 3 is 4 plus 3. So that will be 7. So we have a quotient. This is equal to the quotient, x plus 3, plus the remainder is 7, and x minus 1 is the divisor. So plus 7 over the divisor, x minus 1. So that is the division. That's the result. So this is the what? Quotient, right? This is the quotient. This is the remainder. And this is the divisor. Okay, this is exercise 21. Okay, let's divide the trinomial by a binomial. Okay, when we write the dividend, make sure we write the largest exponent term first. So negative x squared minus 4x plus 21 divided by, okay, 3x, this is the same. So we got to write negative x first. So negative x plus 3. Okay, so negative x times what becomes negative x squared? X. So x times negative x is x squared. And multiply 3 by x, 3x. Then write it next to negative 3x. And then what do? Subtract. Okay, subtract top minus bottom. Subtract. So the first one is always 0. Okay, negative 4x minus 3x. Negative 4x minus 3x, that is negative 7x. And then 21 minus 0 is 21. Okay, next. let's find another factor so that the product of negative x is equal to negative 7x. That should be positive 7. So negative x times 7 is negative 7x. Then 3 times negative 7, 3 times 7 is 21. And then when we subtract these two, 7 and negative 7x plus 7x is positive. This is 0. 21 minus 21 is 0. So in this case, the remainder is 0. So this is equal to the quotient x plus 7 plus 0 over something is 0. So you don't have to write the remainder. Okay, this is example 4. Okay, the dividend is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 terms. So we gotta write the largest term first. 10x to the 4th power and minus 13x cubed minus 7x squared plus 8x plus 4. So divide this expression by the divisor. So divisor we write 2x first. So negative 2x, the x term first, and then plus 3. So from here, let's start. So negative 2x times what becomes 10x to the 4th power. So 2 times 5 is 10. So multiply negative 5. So negative negative is positive. 2 times 5 is 10. 1x is out, so why don't we write x cubed? So x cubed times x is x to the 4th power. So this will be negative. There will be positive 10 x to the 4th power. Okay, so multiply the next one by negative 5x cubed. So that is negative 15, 3 times 5, 15, and x cubed. And then what do we do next? Subtract. Top minus bottom. Okay, 10 minus 10 is 0. Negative 13 plus 15. Negative negative is negative 13 plus 15. So 2x cubed. Okay, make sure you align the terms in the same like terms. So all the terms will be aligned on the same column. The like terms will be aligned to the same column. Okay, and then we need to bring this down. You can bring all these 3 down, but actually you don't need these 3 because the divisor has 2 terms. So we can bring only 2, we need only 2 terms. So 7, negative 7 squared. So I just brought down this second term. Okay, then next let's find 2x cubed. So negative 2x times what is 2x cubed? So the sign is positive, so we gotta multiply negative. So negative times negative is positive. And then how about x? Okay, we need x squared. So negative 2x times negative x squared is positive 2x cubed. Positive 2x cubed. Okay, next, multiply 3 by x squared, then negative 3x squared. Write it down next to 2x cubed. And then what? Subtract. Top minus bottom. Top minus bottom, 0. Negative 7, now plus 3. Negative 7 plus 3 is negative 4x squared. Okay, we gotta bring this one down. 8x. We need only 2 terms. So let's find another factor. So negative 2x times what become negative 4x squared? That will be plus 2, positive 2. So the result is negative. 2 times 2 is 4, and another x. X times 6, x is x squared. So this is negative 4x squared. Multiply 3 by 2x, so plus 6x. What do we do next? Subtract. So once we subtract, negative 4 plus 4 is 0, 8 minus 6, so 2x. And then bring the last term down. Okay. So look at this. This is the degree of this expression is 1, and the divisor's degree is 1. So we gotta do one more time. So negative 2x times what is 2x? That is negative 1. So once we multiply negative, is it positive? So that is 2x minus 3. And then subtract. So 2 minus 2 is 0. 4 minus negative is positive. So 4 plus 3 is 7. So 7 is the remainder. So the answer is the quotient. The quotient is this part. Negative 5x cubed minus x squared plus 2x minus 1 plus the remainder 7 divided by what? 2x plus 3. Okay, make sure that this is the quotient, this is the remainder, and this is the divisor. Divisor, this is the quotient. Okay, let's try example 5. Okay, this example, okay, the divisor, the dividend is x cubed minus 2. So write down x cubed minus 2. But as you can see here, there is no x squared term. So put 0 or some space. So I will put 0. And then minus 2. How about this is x squared term, this is x squared term, and this is placed for x term. So since there is no x term as well, put 0, and then constant term is 2. So x cubed, x squared, x, and constant. Make sure there is, you put a space because each column is assigned. And then divided by x minus 1. Okay, even x minus 1, if this is x squared, let's say this is x squared, then we have to put 0 on the, for the place for x term. So this is x minus 1. Alright, then let's find the factor so that the product of x and the factor is x cubed. So x times what is x cubed? Of course x squared. So that is x cubed. And multiply negative 1 by x squared. So that is negative x squared. See? The second term is assigned for, the second column is reserved for the x squared term. Okay, then subtract. Top minus bottom. Top minus bottom is 0. 0 minus negative is positive. It's x squared. And bring this down. 0. The divisor has 2 terms. So we need 2 terms here. Okay, so x times what is x squared? X. So x times x is x squared. And multiply negative 1 by x, so negative x. Subtract top minus bottom. So x squared is 0. And then 0 minus negative. Minus negative is positive. So 0 plus x is x. And then bring the next one down. Okay, let's try another one. So x times what is x? 1. X times 1 is x. So x minus negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. And then subtract. Top minus bottom. So x minus x cancel out. Negative 2 minus negative 1. So negative 2 plus 1. Negative 1. So that is the remainder. So the answer is the quotient. The quotient is x squared plus x plus 1. And the remainder is negative 1. So why don't we get plus negative 1 over the divisor? X minus 1. And then since the numerator is negative 1, let's put the negative sign outside. Then x squared plus x plus 1 minus 1 over x minus 1. Okay, this example 6, the divisor is trinomial. So we will use the same method. So write down the dividend first, the largest term first. So x to the first power 6x cubed plus 6x squared minus 10x minus 3. And then divided by the divisor. So write down the x squared term first. X squared plus 2x minus 3. Okay, now multiply this x squared by something so that it becomes x to the first power. So that should be x squared. So the first term is x to the first power. And then multiply 2x by x squared. So that is plus 2x times x squared is x cubed. And multiply negative 3 by x squared. So negative 3x squared. And then subtract top minus bottom. Top minus bottom. So x to the first 4 cancel out. 6 minus 2. 6 minus 2 is 4 x cubed. 6 plus 3, multiply negative 3 by negative. So 6 plus 3 is 9x squared. And then bring one term down. Since the divisor has 3 terms, we need 3 terms. So you can just bring one down. You can bring the second term down, still okay. What we need is only 3 terms. Okay, now multiply x squared by something. Multiply the x squared by what? 4x. So that the result is same as 4x cubed. So 4x cubed. And multiply the other terms by 4x. So 2x times 4x is plus 8x. Negative 3 times 4x is negative 12x. Okay, and then what do? Subtract. Top minus bottom. Top minus bottom. So 4 minus 4 is 0. 9 minus 8 is 1. So x squared. Negative 10 plus 12. Negative 10 plus 12 is plus 2x. Okay, we need 3 terms, so bring negative 3 down. Okay, now next, x squared times what is x squared? 1. So multiply all these 3 terms by 1. Then x squared plus 2x minus 3. Subtract. The numerator, the first expression, the second expressions are same. They are identical. So once we subtract, it becomes 0. So the remainder is 0. So the result is only the quotient, x squared plus 4x plus 1. Because plus 0 over some denominators, this part is equal to 0. So we don't have to write this one. So write only the quotient, because the remainder is 0. Okay, this time let's use synthetic division. Okay, synthetic division is this. When we divide a polynomial by a binomial like this, x minus k. Okay, then we can write only the coefficients. So there are coefficients a, b, c, d. Okay, a, b, c are the coefficient of x, and d is a constant. So write the coefficient, and then write the L symbol, and make sure put a second line, blank line, because we're gonna write something in the second line. And then divide by, k is this number. X minus k. If this is the divisor is x plus 3, then write down 3 here. 3 on the left, not negative 3. Change the sign of negative 3, so the positive 3 will be over here. And then first bring the first coefficient a down. Bring the first coefficient down, and then write the product of the divisor. Okay, this k is the divisor. So multiply this k by a. So write it on the second line, right below the letter b, the coefficient b. So this is the product of k and a. And then add the second column. So b and the result, b and ka. Add b and ka right on the second part here. And next, multiply this k by this addition, b plus ka. And then write it on the second line. And so on. And so on. So the final one is, the last one is the remainder. Okay, remainder of the division. And these three are the coefficient. So the last one of these 3 coefficient is the constant. And this is the coefficient of x term. And this is the coefficient of x squared term. So this is the x squared term's coefficient. This is the coefficient of x term. And this is the constant. So let's try an example using numbers. Okay, this is example 7. So the dividend, write the coefficients of the dividend. So x coefficient of x cubed is 1, x squared is 3, coefficient of x is -4, and the constant is -10. If there is a missing term, then put 0. Because the missing term has constant, the coefficient is 0. And then the divisor is okay, -2. This -2, then change the sign, so it's gotta be +2. Okay, this is -2, then make it +2. Then bring the first one down, 1, and multiply 2 by 1, then write it below the next line. And then add these two, add 2 plus 3 plus 2 is 5. Then multiply 2 by 5, that goes over here, 10. Add these two numbers, -6 plus 10 is 6. And then multiply 2 and 6, write it next space. So 2 times 6 is 12. Add these two, then +2. So the last number is, this is the remainder. And this is the constant, right? Constant. And 5 is the coefficient of x term. This is x squared term. So the result is 1x squared. So x squared plus 5x plus 6. And then 2 is the remainder. So we can write it as 2 over the divisor. What's the divisor? X minus 2. So as you can see here, using the synthetic division is much simpler than using the long division. So when we divide a polynomial by binomial, use the synthetic division. Okay, let's try more examples. Okay, this is exercise 40. Okay, trinomials divided by binomial x plus 2. So why don't we write the coefficient of the numerator, the dividend? The new coefficients are 5. And we don't have x squared terms. So if there's no term, then put 0. 6 and 8. So 8 is the constant x term, x squared term. 5 is the coefficient of x cubed. And then write the L shape. And how about the divisor? This is x plus 2. Since this is plus 2, we need to put -2. And then bring 5 down, multiply -2 and 5. -2 and 5, then that is -10. Add these two numbers, -10. Multiply -2 and -10, that's +20. Add these two numbers, so 26. Multiply 2 by 26, then that is -52. Add these two numbers. Then -44. So -44 is the remainder. So this is the remainder. So we can write the result. So 20, these are the coefficients. These are the coefficients of the result. Constant x term. This one is x squared term. So that is 5x squared minus 10x plus 26. And the remainder is -44. So minus 44 over the divisor is x plus 2. Done. Okay, this is exercise 37. So write the coefficient of the numerator, x cubed. And 3 is the x squared. And there is no x term, so put 0, -1. And then the divisor is, this is -4, so +4. And then bring 1 down, multiply 4 and 1 is 4. Add these two, 7. Multiply, okay, this is addition, right? The 4 times 7 is 28. And then add these two, 28. Okay, multiply by 4, so that is 112, right? 4 times 8 is 32. Okay, and then add these two. Add these two, that is 111. So 111 is the remainder. And this is the constant. This is the coefficient of x term. This is the x squared term. So that is x squared plus x plus 28 plus 111, the remainder over the divisor. Done. Okay, this was exercise number 37, but I put the denominator incorrectly. This should be x plus 4. But that's okay, we can just use x minus 4. So if the denominator is x plus 4, then the result is different. The answer will be different from this. But this one is okay. Our result is correct. So this is not 37. So let's say just an example. Okay, in this exercise example, okay, I will factor completely this polynomial. And this polynomial, one of the factors of this polynomial is x minus 1. So we can write it as this. The polynomial, the trinomial, is a product of something. Product of something, I don't know what this is, multiplied by x minus 1. Because x minus 1 is one of the factors of this polynomial. So in order to find this expression, okay, if this is factorable, this is factorable because x minus 1 is a common factor, it's a factor. So this is divisible by x minus 1 because the remainder is 0. Remainder is 0, so that this is factorable. So since x minus 1 is one of the factors, this is divisible by x minus 1. So if you rewrite this, we can rewrite this so that when we divide it, we can divide the equation by x minus 1. Then it will be the trinomial divided by x minus 1 is equal to the star, which is the expression, the right, this one, right? So if you divide each side by x minus 1, then these two cancel out. So what we have is star. Star is the factor that we are looking for. We need to factor completely, so we got to find this factor. And this factor is equal to the polynomial divided by x minus 1. So let's do this division so that we can find this fraction, this one. So, okay, for this, let's use the synthetic division. Okay, x cubed is, the coefficient is 1. There's no x squared term, so put 0. X term, coefficient is negative 7 and 6. Divided by, the divisor is x minus 1. So we will write this negative 1, so make it minus 1. So the divisor is positive 1. So bring 1 down, multiply 1 and 1 is 1. Add these two, then 1. Multiply 1 and 1 is 1. Add these two, negative 7 plus 1 is negative 6. Add these two, then multiply 1 and negative 6, negative 6. Add 6 minus 6 is 0. Now we must have 0. We must have 0 as a remainder because it's divisible. Then the star part is, this is the constant, and 1 is the coefficient of x, and this is x squared. So the star, the factor, the expression of this star is x squared plus x minus 6. So we can write it as, we can replace this star with this expression, but x squared plus x minus 6 also divisible. I mean, this can be a factorable because x times x is x, 6 is 2 times 3, and then we can put the negative sign on 2. So this is negative 2x, 3x, the sum is x. So this is x minus 2 times x plus 3. So we can replace the star with this expression, this factor. So then x cubed minus 7x plus 6 is equal to, okay, this star is the product of these two, x minus 2 times x plus 3, and x minus 1 is given. So we just factored this trinomial like this. Okay, this exercise 44 the question is similar to the example 8. So the expression, this polynomial has a factor x plus 5. Then find the other factors. Okay, so this is same as that one, so same as the previous one. So we can so in order to find this star expression, we have to divide each side by x plus 5. So once we divide each side by x plus 5, then the result is the star. So we gotta divide this expression by x plus 5. So let's use synthetic division. Then the coefficients of the numerator is x cubed x squared, negative 32 is the coefficient of x, and minus 60. So divide this by what? The divisor is x plus 5, so write down negative 5. Then 1 down, multiply, negative 5 and 1, then negative 5, add, negative 4, multiply, positive 20, add these two, then there should be negative 8, multiply, negative 5 times negative 8 is positive 40. We should have 0 as a remainder. Okay, let me check. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, when we add these two, this should be negative 12. Why did I make negative 8? So negative 12. And then multiply negative 5 and negative 12 is positive 60. So once we add these two, the remainder is 0. Always the remainder has to be 0 because this is factorable, and x plus 5 is one of the factors. Okay, so this is equal to, so the star, okay, the star is this. The star is x squared minus 4x minus 12. Because negative, this is constant, this is the coefficient of x, 1 is the coefficient of x squared. And then let's check whether we can factor this. X times x, 12 is 2 times 6 is 12, and then we gotta put the negative sign, so that should be on 6. Then 2x minus 6x is negative 4x. So yes, the result is same as the second term. So the expression for the star is the product of x plus 2 times x minus 6. So now we can replace this x with these two factors. So the result is x plus 2, x minus 6 times x plus 5. So this is the simplified, the factored form of this question. So, okay, this division is, okay, the result of this division is the star, expression for the star. And we have trinomial, and this trinomial is factorable, so that we can replace, this is the expression for the star, so replace this one. So substitute this expression for the star here, so that we have this result.